Welcome back everyone to your stimulus check and stimulus package update for today, Thursday, January 14th. You know it's got to be a good one when wearing this shirt, and we do have a good video in store for you guys today because in this video, we finally have the Biden stimulus plan in our hands. That's right, we've heard a lot of talk along the campaign trail, all rhetoric from Biden, his transition team, Kamala Harris, but now we finally have a cold, hard proposal that we can look at and divulge, and that's what I want to do in today's video. So we'll be uncovering everything it includes. We'll be looking at how much you can receive in stimulus checks, your unemployment benefits, and how long they could last, among other funding, the price tag, how quickly it could pass, all the above we're going to be uncovering right now. But before we do get started, some business we have to take care of. If you have been enjoying my videos, if you have been enjoying my content, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and if you'd like to be part of the community and you appreciate the content that I put out for you guys every single solitary day with no exceptions, no excuses, be sure to show your support by smashing that like button, turn that like button blue. This will help with the YouTube algorithm. YouTube will push the video out to more people, so that way more people actually get to my channel and more eyeballs on my videos. And if you want to be part of the initial 10K, when we do hit 10,000 subscribers, we'll actually be doing a giveaway, something special for you guys. I gotta give back to the community, give back to the fans, as I can only do this because of you. So be sure that you are subscribed, hit that big red button. Also hit the notification bell as well. That will notify you every single solitary time I do post a brand new video. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm so excited to unpack what is inside of this bill. Let's get this show on the road. So this bill will be a nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief package, $1.9 trillion to be exact. That will be the price tag attached to Biden's stimulus bill. He unveiled this Thursday, just today, not too long ago. It will include a wish list of a variety of measures to help the economy, people, and businesses recover from this deadly pandemic. First, let's talk about that price tag. To put things into perspective, $1.9 trillion is of course a lot of money, but do know that the last stimulus bill was $1 trillion less than this bill. That last bill was $900 billion. The initial coronavirus relief package that was passed back in March towards the end, that was $2.2 trillion. So this is another nearly $2 trillion in additional stimulus relief on top of what has already been passed. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act back in 2009, that was the stimulus bill that was passed in light of the 2008 Great Recession. And that was formed by the Obama-Biden administration. Biden had a lot to do. He was very instrumental in creating that package. That bill clocked in at around $800 billion. Now, nothing has passed yet. This is still just a proposal, and it will probably be negotiated, but because we do have the Democrat majority in the Senate, and of course the Democrats also control the House, it has a much more likely shot of passing. So we'll reveal those stimulus checks, we'll reveal the unemployment benefits. When Biden's team introduced the bill today and presented it, they said in the statement, while Congress's bipartisan action in December was a step in the right direction, it was only a down payment. It fell far short of the resources needed to tackle the immediate crisis. And we are in a race against time, and absent additional government assistance, the economic and public health crisis could worsen in the months ahead, which is so true and couldn't have been better stated. Remember, ahead of the release of this plan, Biden was talking about how he didn't want to just help in the short term with one-time payments and unemployment benefits, but rather ensure that households and families could eat and survive and thrive in the years ahead. He wanted to make sure that we help the homeless, we help the hungry, and make sure that millions of Americans do not further fall into poverty. So yes, let's discuss the contents of the package. What can we find inside of the Biden bill? Well, Biden is looking to do good on the Democrats' promise of one-time direct relief payments to Americans. And yes, this bill does include not $2,000 checks, but rather $1,400 stimulus checks, to then create a total of $2,000 in relief when you pair that with the $600 that was already passed under the $900 billion bill. So to reiterate, under this plan, you do not receive another $2,000, but rather $1,400 to top off the $600 that was already passed in December. Immediately, this provision was met with criticism within the Democratic Party. In fact, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, she had stated that the Democrats should pass $2,000 on top of the $600 from December, rather than add $1,400 to get $600 to $2,000. She had said, quote, $2,000 means $2,000. $2,000 does not mean $1,400. She then, in a follow-up tweet, said that unemployment benefits should be retroactive too, being that these unemployment benefits will not kick in until after the $300 provision expires. So yes, on the topic of unemployment benefits, Biden is seeking to send out an unemployment insurance supplement of $400 a week after the $300 benefit expires under the current $900 billion package. But for what period of time? Well, the Biden bill is extremely generous. It could have just been a couple months after March, but no, it is seeking all the way through the summer, all the way till the end of September. That's right, Mr. Biden is asking Congress to extend emergency unemployment insurance programs through the end of September. They are set to expire in mid-March, while providing, in the bill's own words, quote, a $400 per week unemployment insurance supplement to help hard-hit workers. So it is worth noting that that is more than the $300 that was passed in the $900 billion bill, but it's also rather less than what was passed under the CARES Act back in March that called for $600 that expired at the end of July. This bill also includes funding to assist schools and help them reopen. The administration says it wants to make the, quote, necessary investments to meet the president-elect's goal of safely reopening a majority of kindergarten to 8th grade schools within Mr. Biden's first 100 days in office. Administration officials are suggesting $170 billion for schools, supplemented by additional state and local funds. About $130 billion of that would go toward reopening, while much of the rest of the money would go to help colleges dealing with the shift to distance learning and other pandemic-tied problems. In addition, this bill is seeking to implement something unprecedented in the sense that no other stimulus bill or proposal has ever even touched on. And this is truly groundbreaking and would be a substantial victory in the Biden administration. And that is the fact that this bill would raise the minimum wage. Yes, after holding steady at $7.25 an hour, $7.25 an hour for the last decade, this bill would raise the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage. That means you cannot make less than this amount in any state, to $15 an hour. It would also end the tipped minimum wage and sub-minimum wage for people with disabilities. Many states and localities have already raised their own wage floors, of course, but it's not clear how quickly the higher wage would phase in under this bill. This is exactly what Biden was talking about in helping people, not just the short term, but also assisting them in the long term. Even after we have reached herd immunity and millions and millions and millions of Americans have been vaccinated, we have to ensure that people are safe, secure, and sound financially. Research from the Congressional Budget Office in 2019 suggested that raising the minimum wage to $15 nationally could increase pay for tens of millions of workers, though potentially at some cost to jobs. Perhaps 1.3 million people who would otherwise work would not be, in part because employers would reduce payroll. But overall, it would have a positive impact on our economy and Americans' wages. The fight for 15 has been such an important part of so many Democrats' campaigns and pledges. It has been a hallmark of the Bernie Sanders campaign to raise the minimum wage, and this bill could finally accomplish it. It is unfortunate that it took a pandemic, though, to raise the minimum wage if this does get passed. $7.25 an hour is not a livable wage, and even if you worked the maximum amount of hours you could, even 24 hours a day, you would still just be getting by in some areas of the country. Not surprisingly, this bill will include a top Democratic priority, state and local funding. The Biden plan would provide $440 billion to help communities, according to the administration, in addition to the funds for school reopening. The relief plan would also entail billions in grants and loan programs for small businesses. How those would work is not entirely clear just yet. $350 billion in emergency funding for state, local, and territorial governments. State and local governments have already had revenues decline less as a whole than once anticipated, but they have taken an uneven financial hit from the pandemic, and state and local governments have also significantly reduced payrolls, which is concerning because they employ about 13% of America's workers. So it's so important that we provide that funding to keep people on payroll and employed. And as expected, the Biden plan is asking for billions of dollars for vaccine funding. Mr. Biden is asking for $160 billion in funding for a national vaccination program, expanded testing, a public health jobs program, and other steps meant to fight the virus, according to the administration's summary. The plan would invest $20 billion in a national vaccination program, quote, in partnership with states, localities, tribes, and territories, and would try to ensure that people can receive shots free, regardless of immigration status. About $50 billion would go toward improving testing, and $40 billion would be earmarked for shoring up protective gear and supplies, deploying emergency response personnel, and improving supply manufacturing. The Biden plan would also expand paid leave. Biden would renew paid leave provisions that were not extended as part of the December package, while eliminating exemptions for big and small employers. The plan would allow 14 weeks of paid sick and family and medical leave for caregivers dealing with closed schools or care centers, while providing for a $1,400 leave benefit for eligible workers. State and local governments and employers with fewer than 500 employees would be reimbursed for the cost via a refundable tax credit. Emergency leave provisions would last through the end of September. And if you are a parent, you're going to get even more financial help on top of your stimulus checks, because the plan would temporarily increase the size of tax credits for more families and make them refundable, meaning that people would get cash even if they do not earn enough to owe income taxes. Under the expanded child care tax credit, families with children up to age 13 could receive a total of up to $4,000 for one child, or $8,000 for two or more children. Families making less than $125,000 per year would receive the full credit, while those earning up to $400,000 would receive a partial credit. So yes, that is the Biden stimulus bill. It is certainly ambitious. It really covers all grounds. There's nothing missing from there. Now, most people would argue that it should be a full $2,000 stimulus check, not a $1,400 stimulus check to match the $600. I think with everything else that's included, I could actually give that a pass, and I would say that $1,400 is generous enough. And here's why. You have to remember that no one was calling for $2,000 stimulus checks until Trump refused to sign the $900 billion bill and demanded that Congress increase the checks to $2,000. By then, everyone was mostly calling for $600 or $1,200, but $2,000 was not in anyone's lexicon. It was not in anyone's vocabulary. So I do think that $1,400 is generous. As the Biden team takes over and the vaccine continues to roll out, if more stimulus is needed, then I'm sure that he would pass it. But we would probably see a better outlook for the economy. We would probably see a better outlook for financial situations. And, of course, the virus itself with less cases and less deaths as people do continue to get inoculated. The supplemental unemployment benefit of $400 a week is very gracious and is more than enough, in my opinion. I don't think it has to go through September. This is the lifeline. It is the financial helping hand that so many Americans needed. What are your thoughts on this bill? Do you think more could have been done here? Do you think we could actually leave out some of this bill? Do you think it is more than enough? Do you think it is not enough? Let me know down below in the comments what are your thoughts on the Biden stimulus plan. More news is to come as the Biden inauguration is upon us and the Biden administration takes over the White House. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, smash the like button. And if you would like to see more videos from my channel, go ahead and subscribe. We are on that path to 10,000 subscribers. Hit that big red button. Also hit the notification bell as well. I do look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.